Hey, welcome back into a basketball preview, a preview of the upcoming basketball season. This particular video centered around the Denver boys basketball team, and this is an interesting one. I'm very interested to see how this one goes over, because I think this is one where perhaps some of you may disagree with me here, and if you do, that's fine. Let me know what you think. And perhaps I'm missing something, and so I really would appreciate all the feedback that I can get from you. If you missed the preview of the Denver girls basketball team that went up earlier today, you can find that over on YouTube, or you can find it on my Twitter at Taylor from Kway. That's Taylor from Kway. Yesterday we had a boys and girls video for Janesville, and before that it was Waverly Shell Rock. So you can find all those videos on my Twitter page, again, Taylor from Kway. Now, let's take a look at the Denver Cyclones boys basketball team. And here, okay, so this is a team last year who finished 12-11 on the year. They ended up losing 53-47 to Dyke New Hartford to finish their season. You know, I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be honest about this Denver team. I think they underperformed last year. I honestly think they very much underperformed. I think they had the talent to have a much better record, if I'm being honest. I think they had the talent to go a lot further than they did. I get it. In basketball and in high school sports in the postseason, it's one and done. But I just think they had enough talent to where, like I said, the record probably should have been better, and they probably should have gone further. I do think that at times last year they played too many. They played too many guys, and I know that's kind of just sort of what you think about how you should go about you know, putting a team out there. So some people will probably agree with me and say, yeah, we played too many people at certain points, and maybe some people were in a rhythm and they got out of a rhythm because they were on the bench too long, or whatever the case may be. And again, maybe you believe that you should, if you've got 15 players that can play, you should get them all as much time as you can. I happen to be, you know, I don't care really. This is just, I mean, again, this is just me. I tend to think if you've got 7, 8, 9 guys, that's kind of all the further that I really want to go, because I just want that consistency, especially in a high school game. And perhaps that would have made a difference. I don't, and maybe it would not have. But I just think this is a team, the talent that they had, they could have done a bit more with what they had. And let's take a look at the players that they lose, because it's a lot. Denver probably loses the most of anybody in the area, boys or girls. I would reckon the Denver boys basketball team loses the most from last year's team. You lose Big Zach Miller. He averaged 12 points per game for you, 8.2 rebounds, and really he was a double-double machine. And so you'll lose him. Sam Yeager, 10.4 points a game. I remember he had a gigantic game, at least one last year. He had a bunch of three-pointers. He also pulled down 5.7 rebounds a game, an unbelievable athlete. You lose him. You lose Bo McMahon, just an absolute winner. Bo McMahon, he averaged 9.5 points per game last year, 4.5 rebounds a game. He led the team with 113 assists. He only turned it over 42 times. He forced turnovers. He's a heck of a player. He's gone. Kai Jenkins, athlete, could handle the rock quite well. He averaged 9.6 points per game. Kai averaged 2.7 rebounds and, you know, 58 assists he had on the year as well. He's gone as well. You know, and Tim Aarons as well is another guy that you could bring off the bench. You know, I know he made the difference in at least one of the games that I was able to call last year. So that's an unbelievable amount of production that this Denver team loses. And one other thing I wanted to say about that team from last year for Denver, I thought they went too slow at times as well. I thought they just had the horses, especially if they were going to play a lot, where they could kind of get up and down and wear teams down. And they did go quick sometimes, but I just thought the ball would stick from time to time and they'd get sort of bogged down. And I think that hurt them a little bit as well. So we'll see. Maybe that change gets made this year. The problem is who's going to be playing? I mean, that's really the question for this Denver team. One kid will definitely be in the lineup. Sophomore now, Bryce Phelps. It's hard to believe he's just a sophomore. He averaged 8.6 points a game. He's going to have to be 15 plus this year. If you ask me, he's probably going to have to double that output for the Denver Cyclones this year, and he's absolutely capable of doing that. He's absolutely capable of doing that. He can handle the rock. He can get to the rim. He can shoot threes. He's a very, very good player. Again, it's ridiculously hard to believe that he's just a sophomore. He had 73 assists last year. That was second on the team. 63 steals, led the team. He turned it over just 38 times. He's an outstanding talent. He also pulled down 4 rebounds a game. But beyond him, it's a real question mark. You got a guy like Devin Bass who has had some bright spots. I think about the very first game. I think it was the very first game last year against West Central Maynard. He threw down a handful of dunks. And if he can get out on the break and be throwing them down, hammering them home, that's going to be great for Denver for sure. I would imagine that he probably is in that starting lineup along with Bryce Phelps. And I don't know. I don't know about the other 3. Now, there are some younger kids. You think about an Isaac Besh, a Colton Ryder, some other guys that saw some time. Kyler Matthias, of course, as well. Some guys that saw some time last year that probably fill out the rest of that starting lineup. But that lineup's going to be very, very young, like very young. Bass will be a senior, and then everybody else maybe freshmen and sophomores. Maybe sophomores and juniors, I guess. There's just not a whole lot of seniors in that starting lineup. And so, I don't know. I don't know what the Cyclones are going to be able to do, what they're going to be able to accomplish. I think it's going to be tough. Listen, this team's going to be fun to watch. I can tell you that. And Denver fans watching this, definitely get out and take in these games because, they need you to be there, no doubt about it, and you're going to be entertained. I can absolutely guarantee you that you will be entertained. But there's just going to be a lack of experience on this roster. And beyond Bryce Phelps, I'm not sure what this Denver roster has to offer. If you're going to pin me down to a prediction, it's going to be a tough season. I think it very likely could be a tough season for the Denver Cyclones this year on the boys' side of things. I hope I'm wrong, and maybe I will be, but from what I'm seeing right now, I'm just not sure. And I hope this is bulletin material. I hope the Denver players, I hope they watch this video, and I hope that this motivates them to see what they can do because I'm interested as well, but I don't see a ton of wins here on the docket. Some interesting notes from last year. 32.9 rebounds per game is pretty good. I think that number goes down fairly significantly. I mean, you lose your top 3 leading rebounders. You don't have a big Zach Miller anymore. Little Zach Miller, I guess I should mention, he probably will get into the mix a bit this year as well, and maybe he can fill those boots a little bit down in the post. They had over 100 more assists than turnovers. If you have more than 100 assists to turnovers, you shouldn't be hanging around 500. That's just me. You should have more wins than they had last year. I know there are some other things that go into that, but that's not normally a stat line that you see with a team that finished 12-11. I know their schedule was tough as well. Another interesting note, they scored about 50 or 60 points less than the other quarters in the first quarter. So they were getting off to some slow starts. They had trouble getting it going. And it sort of, once they got it going, they were okay. They were good. They were competitive. But getting it going seemed to be a bit of a problem last year. So maybe that's an area where they figure something out. They get it going a little bit quicker. And maybe that's where they can make up a little bit of what they lost in the seniors from a year ago. Their point differential, they averaged beating teams by 5.7 points per game. Again, you would think with that you'd be a little bit higher than just a game, just a one win more than the number of losses last year. So I think I think that number goes down. I think the rebounding number goes down. I think the assist to turnover ratio goes down as well. Again, if they can make up that point differential in the first quarter, that could help them quite a lot. But I think Bryce Phelps is going to be, he's going to be the key. He's going to be the key on this team. I think it's going to be kind of how he goes. That's how the Denver Cyclones will go. It'll be fun to see. I think Bryce Phelps is the type that could lead Denver to a much better season than I foresee at the moment. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, my rating system. If you've seen the other videos, you know how this works. 1 is a title contender. A 2 would be a state tournament contender. A 3 is a team that wants to win more games than lose, and see how they're playing come tourney time, and maybe they can go on a run at that juncture. And a 4 would be a rebuilding team, a team making up for losing a whole bunch of seniors, or maybe it's just a school that doesn't have a whole lot of basketball history. And I think by that description, perhaps you can figure out where I'm going to go here. I think this Denver boys team gets a 4. I think this is a rebuilding year for Coach Matthias and company over there at Denver. I think what you are doing this year, yes, you want to win. You want to win as many games as absolutely possible. There's no doubt about that. But I think you also, look at your roster, see that it's pretty young, and perhaps, really focusing on development this year, getting them ready for next year. It can flip immediately. You go from a rebuilding year this year into a state tournament contender next year with some of these players. So that's my thoughts on the Denver Cyclones boys team. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you think I'm missing something, if I was too harsh. Just let me know what you think. And again, we'll have a couple more videos for you tomorrow. And until then, my name's Taylor Nitz. Okay, bye.